take a deep breath in. Hold it. Hold it. Now let it out. I'm gonna guess you took another breath in just now. This cycle of breathing in and out is what regulates your body's functions. It keeps oxygen in your lungs and keeps your heart beating. Just like you, the planet has natural cycles that keep it alive. Every living and non-living thing on this planet is connected through these cycles of water, air, and nutrients. They keep water sources replenished. They send life-supporting nutrients back into the soil. They balance oxygen and carbon in the air. What's happening to our planet now is a result of a disturbance in these natural cycles.
So what plants do is they take in carbon dioxide from the air and store this carbon in their roots, stems, and leaves. A majority of that carbon is stored in the soil. And this movement of carbon is called the carbon cycle. Wetlands have a really important role to play in the carbon cycle. They occupy only 2 to 6% of the Earth's land area, but they store nearly 20 to 30% of the Earth's terrestrial soil carbon. When an ecosystem is deforested, that means we are not taking in enough carbon dioxide from the air into the plants and only releasing more.
Over time, wetlands like the Everglades are incredibly effective at taking carbon out of the atmosphere and storing it long-term in the soil. My name is Steve Davis. I'm the Chief Science Officer at the Everglades Foundation. The Everglades, in its pre-drainage state, was really a vast, flowing ecosystem.
A lot of people don't know that the Everglades is actually one giant river. It's a huge river. It's really, really wide. It's really wide and it's really short. It moves a lot of water, but it moves a lot of water over a vast surface area. What happens is that these lands, these wet lands, are places for rainwater to fall and get filtered through before sinking down into our aquifer. The aquifer is where most of our state gets its water.
The Everglades is already a part of your life in terms of the water that we use. When you turn on the faucet, when you turn on your electricity, all of these activities are really sustained by the waters that we're pumping from underground, because beneath our everyday lives, there are a couple different layers of aquifers that we get the water from. And how does the water get there anyway? Well, the water gets there by kind of like trickling slowly down at a surface level, and it slowly trickles down into the aquifer.
When you cover the landscape in concrete, you make it very difficult to filter water, and then it has a really hard time actually making it down into the aquifer.
The urban areas are on top of the Everglades. Like, these places are built on what used to be the pine rocklands, what used to be tree islands, what used to be sawgrass.
You know, we're talking about the greater Everglades, the mosaic of all the different ecosystems that the Everglades is. Historically, what would happen in South Florida during the rainy season, the Lake Okeechobee would overflow, and you would have this really big, what they call a sheet flow, that would come down, slowly meandering its way down out into the bay.
The infrastructure that was authorized by Congress in the late 1940s was called the Central and Southern Florida Project. That's what gave South Florida its 2,000 miles of canals and levees and farmland for agriculture. And so that infrastructure allowed us to exist here, but the cost was the impact that it's had on our environment. Redirecting water away from the Everglades led to the over-drainage of marshlands. Very little water was moving through the Everglades. The ecosystem would dry out. We're seeing effectively about half or less the fresh water flowing in Everglades National Park that it used to receive historically. Not only are we seeing impacts on the surface to habitats and species, without water in the Everglades, we're not recharging the water supply that we all depend upon.
The freshwater levels have gone down in the Biscayne aquifer.
Kevin. Right now we are just inside the national park. I've been driving airboats here at Coopertown for a little over 5 years now. I feel like the biggest change that we have seen has been our water out here. I've experienced absolutely no water out here to the point where we can't even operate tours on this side.
Where we really notice the difference with the boundary, the line of saltwater intrusion into the Biscayne Aquifer is near the coast.
We're a peninsula, we're surrounded by the ocean, but so much of our state is low-lying.
As seas continue to rise, they're going to encroach on that freshwater underground aquifer and it's going to contaminate it. So our drinking water is at risk.
By increasing freshwater flow, we can actually push back against that saltwater intrusion boundary. So the solution to all of this is redirecting that water back to the south.
And a lot of people don't realize that developing on the Everglades, filling the Everglades, the negative impact that it has on our way of living.
Land conservation and water conservation are intimately tied together.